Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of crude oil and natural gas. Again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. We'll get in here. I'll let the charts do the talking. And here we go. So here's light crude oil futures. Another little small down day today. We've got larger up days coming up. Everything looks intact. We broke through this resistance support line. So we're using it as support at $111, $110. So zooming on out, if we can get it to update, boom, there's our resistance line going across there, and that's what we're trying to rest on. So that's that resistance line going across. Looking at natural gas, we are breaking this pattern to the upside, and we could potentially see a run higher in natural gas. It looks great. One of the companies that I was talking about, which is a natural gas company, is CRK. That thing's been killing it. But this thing is looking good for a move higher for natural gas. XOP, this is the oil and gas exploration and production ETF. It looks like we're breaking out of that resistance line, ready to move higher. It looks really good. Big long-term view. It is breaking higher. It looks ultra strong. I like it a lot, guys. SM Energy just bopping sideways. We are at this resistance area. Once it breaks through this resistance, this long-term resistance line, this line coming through here, then we'll move on up. Just got to break through it. CDEV, another one that's within the pattern. It's bouncing around. It does have natural gas and oil, but it's looking good. It's just inside of its pattern. Crew Energy trying to break outside of its pattern. This is a natural gas heavy company. When natural gas breaks, I would suspect that this breaks. This is one of my largest holdings for natural gas is Crew Energy. I own a whole bunch of other ones, SWN, AR, CNX. I own a whole bunch, guys, but I don't chart all of them all the time. They're all very similar to these patterns. So this one was looking really good. CPE is also within its pattern that's about to break at some point. Athabasca Oil's resting on top of its long-term pattern. It just needs to move on higher. Recaf getting a little bit of a small down day today. Again, it's got nice, small, tight, controlled down days. Still looks okay to me. Crescent Point Energy, CPG. This is a Canadian oil company. Looking good. It's just coming into some resistance. We had a down day in oil. I don't expect it to be flying. There's our resistance area right through here. That's where we're getting the resistance from. We got to break through all that. Northern Oil and Gas, another one that looks very good. It is coming on up, breaking through its resistance line, and I think we're going to see an eventual move higher. Grand Tierra Energy, this is already broken out of its big pattern. Just let it run, guys. Let it run and make you money. Tellurian, up a lot today. It's not like we didn't know it was going to go up. Like I said, we've broken the pattern for Tell. Here's your pattern break, and now we're moving on higher. It's game on. Getting a large move higher here. I would be a holder of it, and I do hold it, and I'm not selling anything, guys. Pedevco, just moving sideways. Oasis moving sideways, a little bullish engulfing. We could maybe work our way higher. CRK, which is predominantly a natural gas company, looking very strong. It's coming up to resistance. I know I'm talking about this and I don't even see the chart, but this is your resistance line that I am talking about. The resistance line, if I were to back out, is this line coming across here. Once we break that, there's not too much resistance above. I mean, there's a little bit, but it's looking quite good. SD Energy, another one that's been playing with its 52-week highs. It looks pretty strong. Ring Energy sitting on top of its resistance line here. It looks like it wants to make a run for it. Make a run for the border. Surge Energy, it's holding on, moving sideways here. Again, it has a long-term downtrend line break that we've broken here recently. I like it in this general vicinity. Not a bad spot to be in. Volume stepping in and buying it. It's also at the price of $6.66 that I noticed. Tamarac Valley Energy. Tamarac Valley Energy is right here. We've got a breakout. This looks pretty good. We've got CRGY, Crescent Energy. Still just moving sideways. Next, we have Meg Energy. This thing's just sitting on top of its pattern right now. It looks, it looks good. This is where I usually like to look at companies. Next, we have Energy Service Companies. OIH is the ETF. The ETF's just been moving sideways for the past, I don't know, month or so. We have broken out of this big picture view here. Again, it just takes time for it to appreciate, guys. You just have to hold on. Tetra Technologies. This one's just moving sideways. It's above a support area. And again, it looks really good for a long-term hold right here. Rig just barely moving down. It's broken out of its pattern here. It's looking good for a potential buy point all through here. PUMP, this is ProPetro Holding Corporation. It has broken out of its big long-term pattern here. It looks fantastic. Could this pull back a little bit? It very well could. But again, I'd be a long-term holder. EXTN's real low, looking real good on its break. Could this pull back a little bit? It very well could. We're getting a little bit of a pullback right now. But long-term, I'd be a holder. Valeris, moving on higher, looking quite strong. Would I be chasing it up here? Probably not. I would have been a buyer down when it's down or off off this break, and then the retests is where I'd buy. MRM continuing to be strong, up 5.17%. It's starting to move, and it's starting to get a little too vertical, but it looks really good. This thing can move quite a long ways. The cool thing about this guy here is, you've got support there, and it could easily hit 90 cents in a heartbeat. So, yeah, looks good. Tidewater, another one that's been up in the moon here. We could see, I wouldn't do anything here, guys. I just hold on to my shares, and that's what I'm doing. I don't think I'd be a new buyer up here. NEX, this thing's been on fire. Continues to move on higher. Quite impressive, actually. KLXE, diving in here. Looks like it's trying to find some support. A little bit more selling pressure today. And I know a lot of guys, I don't own KLX Energy Services. We do have some support here. Be careful with some of these that are they're so volatile. So, I mean, this could move back. It could be very volatile. And if you own it, just hold on. Don't get too afraid, but it's going to be very volatile. CHX is a company that I like. We're right before a breakout. That's where I like buying. Cactus Energy. This one's right on top of its pattern. It's looking okay. 9, and this is another one that had a large short squeeze. It's very volatile. So this is one that I hardly own anything in 9. But yeah, it's going to be very volatile. Now OII is another one that I own a little bit more in, that I've purchased here more recently. I like this one a bit as it's breaking its downtrend line here on a little bit larger picture view. NE is another one that I own. Noble Corporation, moving on higher, looks really good. Helix is one that I purchased around this general vicinity at the corner of this breakout, and I've just held on to it. Still looks okay. CGGYY looks good, up 4.29%. It's coming on up to its resistance line eventually. We've got PFC, Petrofac, coming on down. I do not own this one myself, but this is one that people were wanting to know. McCoy Global is looking good. It's broken out of its long-term kind of resistance. It's starting to come back up, down day to day. New Hope Corporation breaking higher, up 11%. This has got a broken downtrend, looks fantastic. BTU, a little bit of a small down day to day. That's all we've got. Still looks okay. CSUAY moving on up with the momentum coming down, coming into some selling pressure. Yancoal moving on higher today, still looks fantastic. Whitehaven, it's broken out of its downtrend line. Its pattern here, moving on up, looks fantastic from a long-term perspective, and Thungela killing it. It's going vertical, Goose. It's going vertical. That's from Top Gun, obviously. So overall, guys, the overall sector looks fine. Looks good. Natural gas looks the strongest. I like Crew Energy, CWEGF. Maybe CRK is looking good. Now, would I buy CRK right where it's at? Probably not, because it's going to come up to resistance. It's going to get stuck there for a little bit. Potentially, maybe not. It depends what natural gas does, and natural gas does look good. But overall, everything still looks really good. There's nothing to worry about. Give me a thumbs up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.